There's something I saw last week on the internet. I guess it came from the Davos Forum, where the CEO of Anthropic was talking about AI agents writing code from end to end. And that got me thinking because, as someone who has been in AI for 8 years, I mean, really understanding how AI works under the hood, not just how you prompt the AI or how you um, use AI to write code, but how you prompt it, how the current AI we use, how they're built in terms of the algorithms, the functions, the activation functions, all of them that they use, all of the papers that have been written from transformer to deep learning and all of that. It really got me thinking because for quite a while now, this is something that's been ongoing where these AI large language model CEOs, the companies like OpenAI and the likes, they come out and they make bold statements. When I say bold statement, that's the best language I can use because it's really an understatement to use even the word bold statement. Because the kind of promises they make, I'm afraid to say it's only setting us up for failure. I'll be honest with you. It's setting up everyone that's building on AI for failure. I mean, maybe not total failure, but for some sort of distrust when it comes to AI and what it can do. If you even go to this article here, I'm not going to read this part. I mean, you can go and read it, but there was a part that he says, um, his name is Dario. Dario Amode made an astonishing prediction. AI could completely replace software engineers in as little as 6 months. Also, half of junior white collar jobs will disappear within the next 1 to 5 years. That's really bold. Like, I don't know if the guy writes software or if he writes code for his company. For the past 20 years or so, I've been writing software. And even before AI, these current LLM models came out, I've been writing software. I use them too to write software. So I can say I have a bit of understanding of how AI helps you to move fast and develop software. But these sort of promises, sometimes they turn my stomach. I'll be honest with you, they really turn my stomach. If you scroll down on the article a little bit, you will see where he was saying AI will take over AI will take over almost all the work of software engineers, end to end in just 6 to 12 months. He also revealed that the internal engineers at Anthropic rarely write code by hand anymore. Instead, AI does it all, and humans only need review and guide. See, this last part is the truth that they don't tell you. This last part is where the meat and potatoes, like they say, where it is when it comes to writing code. Because there are two parts to writing code. There's the syntax, and then there is the logic, the concept, the planning, the design, and that's where 80 to 90% of writing software is. It's not in the writing of syntax. I mean, when you go to college, they might tell you, oh, learn how to write, learn how to use PHP, learn how to use Java, C++, and the likes. But if you look at software development, I'm really focusing on software because I'm a software engineer, and that's where like most of the AI application that's seen some success. That's where they really are. But when they make promises like this, again, I'm reacting to his promise to what he said, like 6 to 12 months. AI, as it is right now, cannot design any software, not even a software to to receive your emails. I don't mean writing the code. I mean the designing and the planning. You give it requirement, it will tell you this. You say when you're prompting, it will tell you be specific and give you this requirement, it will write the plan for you and execute it. All well and good. However, you still need a human input to do all of that. And there have been cases where I'm using whether it's Cloud Code or Gemini, or you name them, I've used all of them. At some point, I just take over because I get so frustrated. Maybe I'm so dumb, I'm the one that's not using it well. But I've seen other engineers complain of the same thing. You think you're writing a code that makes sense. At the end of the day, you'll find out that there was so much that is missing. So much that is missing that the AI just spit out for you. Again, like I said, there is a syntax part of writing code, and there is the design part of writing code. Show me one company, or tell me one company that writes code with AI and pushes it to production. If you can show me one company that can do that, I will show you a company that will not last. Because I guarantee you, one day they will wake up and they'll come back and find out that the AI has messed all their code. In technological terms, they say you deliver more than you promise. But with this whole AI approach, is overpromise and deliver almost next to nothing. Don't get me wrong, AI is a super tool. I mean, if you look at it from the viewpoint of AI just being a tool, it's one of the tools that you can say humans have ever come up with in modern times. Because you use AI in the right context, it will do magic for you. My quarrel and my problem is the approach to which we are deploying AI and speaking about the AI. It's not helping anyone. How can you be making promises that and I'll show you this is not the first time he made this promise. This is not the first time they're making promises like this. The same promises it was made 6 months ago. There's another article where somebody was even responding to it. See, said exactly 6 months ago, the CEO Anthropic said that in 6 months, AI will be writing 90% of it. I mean, if you're a developer that you're using AI to write 90% of your code, please leave a comment so that we will know, and then we'll ask you, maybe you would help us understand how you do it. So with so many predictions flying around about the future of AI, it's important to occasionally take a step back and check in on what came true and what hasn't come to pass. Exactly 6 months ago, Dario Amodeo, the CEO of massive AI company Anthropic, claimed that in half a year, AI would be writing 90% of code. And that was the worst case scenario. In just 3 months, he predicted we could hit a place where essentially all code is written by AI. As the CEO of one of the busiest AI companies in Silicon Valley, surely he must have been close to the mark, right? No, we're not. See, researchers published within the past 6 months explain why AI has been found to actually slow down software engineers and increase their workload. Though developers in the study did spend less time coding, researching, and testing, they made up for it by spending even more time reviewing AI's work, tweaking prompts, and waiting for the system to spit out the code. Like I said, AI is just a tool. Used well, you can make magic happen. But when you make promises like this and it doesn't happen, people will begin to distrust the whole AI approach. A typical example is NFTs. I remember a couple of years back, everybody was saying NFTs. Even Meta spent about $10 billion trying to create a digital world. Where is all of that today? The same thing that we talked about blockchain. Web3. Web 3, Web 3, Web 3.0. It's going to change everything. It's going to change everything. Where's the technology? Who is using it? Why is it not taking over? As someone who has done AI for years, the number one thing they tell you is you have to give AI the right context. So when you're coming up with a model, it's best you train your model and try to contain what it can do. I'll give you an example. Self-driving cars. Driving itself is complex because there's so many things you need. But you understand that driving is just a single context. You get into the car, you drive. It's not like you're saying you're training the model to drive, to cook, to wash your dishes, to wash your clothes, and so on and so forth. You're just doing a training a model to drive. Do you know how long that has taken for even for us to begin to see some results? More than a decade, more than 10 years. If you take a 16-year-old today and you start to teach him how to drive, I bet you in the next 6 months he will know how to drive. Maybe even 3 months. And these same guys will tell us that there was an article here where it says AI is about to outthink humans. I guess I understand all these are just titles for the article so that catch your interest and you want to read it. But someone who just reads only the title and goes away will think that, oh, my job is in trouble and this AI will take over my job. And then he starts to worry. Eventually it doesn't happen. And we are all laughed at. So for me, this is what really pains me. I had on so much not to make a video like this, but it gets to a point where you just start to think, okay, maybe this is not even good for all of us. I don't want this video to just be me just trying to bash AI and bash the guys who are making the world a better place. I have no grudge against anybody or any ill feeling against anybody. What I'm just trying to point out here is the overhype that it's been going on with AI. That's only what I really don't like. And I don't like it because I feel it's going to lead us to a point where a lot of people who would have used AI productively would end up distrusting it. Or just it will end up like something like NFTs. That's why I'm making this video. And one of the goals I want to try and one of the information I want to try and send across is, as someone who lives in the world with AI today, it's not going to go anywhere. There's been so much money that has been poured into data centers, infrastructure, and the rest. I think what they're even trying to do is grow it such that it becomes too big to fail. At some point, if they need money, maybe the government will come in and bail them out. For me, that's what I think they're doing. Because there's so many sides to it. There is the power generation side, there is the data center, there is so on, and there's so many layers to it. At some point, if they're not generating enough money from the core AI itself, or even applications that they've added on top of the LLMs, they will generate money from some other place. And if they have to, hold so much money and they're in debt and need money to bail themselves off, I bet the government will come in, because that's how these systems work. So I'm not even sure, because if you look at it now, tell me one application that any of OpenAI, Claude, except Google because they have so many products. Tell me how you're going to distribute, because LLM itself is it's a commodity. Anyone can, I wouldn't say anyone, but if you look at even what the Chinese they are doing with how they train their models, there's so many open source models and they keep getting better. So technically you're not going to make so much money from the LLMs themselves, from the large language model. You'll most likely be making money from the applications you layered on top of the LLM models. I don't see mean, these guys are smart. I hope they come up with a lot of applications that can help them make the money they've been spending and promise to spend. Because we're all going to at some point start paying for all the money they're spending. And another thing I want to quickly point out is large language models. To me, I know they're built on top of deep learning, but I prefer a different approach when it comes to using AI to solve problems. I go back to self-driving cars. That is a real problem. I wouldn't say, okay, you can say it's a problem that AI can really help us solve. Imagine as someone, a CEO, you have so much money and you still have 24 hours a day. You can buy a self-driving car, drives you around, you have time to do your work. Becomes more like an assistant. That's something nice, because it's expensive to hire a driver and so on and so forth, right? You can use it to do delivery, last mile delivery. It drives to whatever the delivery is, and then maybe there is a code to open it up, and then whoever has the product that is being delivered picks it up and you go your way. Those are problems that sort of AI that is contained within driving is solving. Same thing for factories. You can have a vision model, not large language model. That's a different thing. The vision model that looks at the product as it's passing maybe the production line and inspects it. That's productivity. Instead of having a human stand there and then just keep looking at the product, you can create a model, a vision model that checks for if the product meets the standard you want it to meet before you send it to be sold. To me, that's a more productive way to deploy and apply AI for our world. That's my opinion. And that's what I'm even doing with ClothMe. I'm using a vision model that I trained with my own data set for a number of years to be able to generate fashion sizes for anyone. As long as you give it 2 photos, to generate your size for all your fashion sizes. And the application doesn't stop there, because it's not just a question of generating sizes. How do you ensure that the end user is benefiting from the result of the AI? So what happens next is once the application has your sizes, it would then match your sizes with all of the product sizes in your city. And if you want to shop, you open the app, you only see the product that's your size. So all the time you spend scrolling through product and you're not even sure whether they fit you or not. It's like that's gone. You can add your family, maybe your kid or anybody, and buy on their behalf because you have their sizes. That's a more reasonable and approachable way to deploy AI in our current world. AI is garbage in, garbage out on a larger scale. I'm not saying that the AI models will not get better, but with the current architecture and current AI models that we have, we will never be able to get AI that is smarter than human. I mean, the AI can think about a certain thing and think faster, just like how calculators could add things faster than a human being. To me, that's the same. That's the same thing that will happen. So, whenever you see news like this, take it with a grain of salt and process it your own way, and just go on with your life. If you find anywhere where you want to apply AI, please do, but don't listen to these guys, because it's all marketing, and it's all about ensuring that they are successful with whatever investment they've been given. That's my opinion. Until next time, think about how you want to apply AI in your own case. Shut out all the noises. Stay blessed, stay strong. Bye bye.